What's up, y'all? This is KJ, and today we are here on YouTube. And guess what we're doing? We are about to do some reviews today. We're gonna talk about Ready to Love. We're gonna talk about episode 1 and 2 because y'all know this is my show, and I have not been on YouTube for quite some time. So when I do come back to YouTube, this is more than likely the lane that I'm in. So I want to go ahead and just talk about Ready to Love. I think this is season 8, 7 or 8. This is going to be episode 1 and 2. And yeah, let's just get into it. I got a couple of notes over here. So we're going to go ahead and get into it because this is my show, y'all. And I miss YouTube, and I will start coming back. I'm going to start 2023. That's the year I'm about to start making my videos. I've been watching YouTube all this time and just neglecting my channel. So I revamped some things. I'm about to give me some graphics for y'all. And we're going to be in this thing and we're going to do this. So yeah. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe the video if you like the content. And we're going to keep it coming. So we're going to go ahead and start off with episode 1 because, like I said, I'm behind for episode 1 and 2. So we'll go ahead and start off with episode 1 first. All right, so we start out meeting the singles. Now, we got, for the first episode, we ended up with 16 singles. Well, normally we have 20, I think it is, yeah. Normally we have 20, so we ended up with 16, but that's fine. You know, we're going to go through the 16 singles. They had to meet the singles episode, which we're not going to talk about. We're just going to go over the singles that we got right now. So we got Andre, he's 39. We got Corvea, she 31. Andre and Corvea, let's just start with them. Andre's got this whole hairstyle that I'm not really feeling. He seemed like he a nice guy. I think he one of the guys with an accent, but the hair, it's gotta go. It's a wrap for the hair. I can't do it. Corvea is a little tiny little something. I think she's Latina. Her attitude and vibe, I'm not really sure how this is gonna play out for her, but she's a little cute little, you know, tiny petite girl lady. Really big smile too. I did notice that. Natasha, 37. Natasha actually looks like her hair is natural or mainly natural. It's really pretty. Z, she's also another one with natural hair. Got some freckles. Cute lady, nice looking. All of the singles look pretty decent this season. I ain't gonna lie. Most of them look pretty decent, but some of the guys, you know, some of the guys I don't know about, but most of the singles do look pretty decent. Dre is 39. He is a short guy. Looks kind of young. I think he was the guy that actually did some kind of little rap or something, but that's Dre. London, 39. I hated his hair, his haircut. I don't like it, but hey, he's like into the club lifestyle or whatever. I think he also another one with an accent. I think he said he's from Kingston or something like that. Morgan, 38. Markia, 34. She's got a lot of hair. She was saying she would date herself. This is just first impressions, y'all. This is just what I'm seeing from first impressions right now. Blue is 40. He's the guy with the hookah lounge and the liquor stores. I think he said he owned a hookah lounge and liquor store. So yeah, that's Blue. He got some blue eyes, so that's probably why they call him Blue. Really pretty eyes. Mercedes, she's the flight attendant. She was 31. DeMario, 37. He's also got some really pretty gray looking eyes. Anthony's 39. He has a daughter, a very young daughter. Sue Ann is 39. She's an attorney. Tony is 32. Got 2 kids, boys. I think he said they was like 16 and 9 years old. Jeffrey's 32. Blake is 44. So I think Blake and Blue are around the 40 age, but I think Blake is the oldest by being 44. On this first episode, they had Rashid and Simone come on, and they kind of talked with the couples and did a whole thing. We'll get into that. From what I can see so far, I like Mercedes, Sue-Ann, Morgan, and Jeffrey. Those are just the ladies that I kind of vibe with and liked, as far as their first impression. The dislikes, I would have to say Corvea. I don't dislike them, but I just didn't catch a vibe with them. Corvea, Z, and Natasha, just from my I felt the same way they did at the end of the day. Anyway, so they start out meeting and mix, at the mix and mingle and everything with the singles. Dre started to rap, like I said, he started to rap and talk about how farting around his mate is like where you're most comfortable, and that's, something that he's used to or whatever. Me personally, I don't do that. I'm comfortable with him, but I would never do that just because that's just not my thing. This is not what I do. But yeah. Morgan and Lyndon, they talked a little bit to the side, and we learned that Lyndon is a club. Like I said, he's into the club life or whatever, and whatever his occupation is, I don't remember, but it's something to do with some clubs. And Morgan, she doesn't go out at all, so that's probably not going to match up at some point. She don't really go out, and she's not into the club scene, so yeah. Marcia, I think it was Marcia and Blue, they have a conversation. Blue was the guy that has the liquor store situation in the hookah lounge. She says she into liquor store, she into the hookah lounge, she like hookah, she like liquor, so they seem to have a good vibe. She said, he make her feel safe around her. He makes her feel safe, so they seem to be vibing out pretty good. Tommy comes out and he brings out, like I said, Rashid and Simone, and they mix and mingle some more with the singles, and the singles get to ask them any questions that they might have, regarding the whole process of Ready to Love. They sat down and talked with some of the singles, had, answered some questions, and that was that. They went back to mixing some more. Z, Dre, Natasha, and Mercedes kind of grouped together and was talking or whatever. And they started talking about, what everybody do. Mercedes then told us, that's when she told us she was a flight attendant. And we see Mercedes and Anthony talk. She talks about her job, and he talks about, his daughter and how he's really just trying to, settle down, the whole fluff. She doesn't mind playing stepmom. That's what she said. Mercedes said she don't mind playing a stepmom role. Morgan and Tony seem to also be vibing. He talks about his childhood, and his mom is a pastor, and Morgan really they kind of both have the same type of beliefs when it comes to, spirituality. So they both seem to be pretty spiritual and, might have a pretty good vibe from what I can see on episode 1. Corvea, Demario, and London sit around and talk, and, they started talking about, just general stuff. Demario seems to be pretty attracted to Corvea. Corvea is basically saying how she is, into guys that are into therapy. She would never date a guy that says no completely to therapy, and that her turnoffs are not being independent. And so the camera pans over to Lyndon, who is not technically independent. He has a roommate right now, and Corvea was kind of saying things like, if you can't take care of yourself, how you gonna take care of me? Stuff like that. Lyndon had to basically go into the explanation of why he currently has a roommate, and why he got a roommate right now. And and he kind of, in his confessional, he was saying that Corvea was coming off kind of judgmental with certain things and certain boundaries and things like that. I think it's the way she's saying it, in the way it's coming off. Not really like she's meaning it to be judgmental, but I think she's saying it like, as her preferences versus, being a judgmental person. So I think that's what this is, but it's just not coming off right. It's not coming off as attractive or cute or anyway. Z and Demario don't seem to be vibing at all. Demario seems to be mainly the one that's not interested in Z. They talked about, she made a joke about her being a virgin when she's not a virgin, and how, like, was he into virgins? It was a little cringy bar scene with Z and Demario, but they don't seem to be catching a vibe for each other, neither one of them. Dre, the short guy, he seems to be the outcast of the group to me, only because he's a short guy. Like, I know that stereotypically a lot of women are not attracted to short men, and I also know that even if you are a short girl, you're still not attracted to a short man. And then if you're a tall girl or taller than him, it's still not attractive to you. So he just kind of got the short end of the stick to me, because, a lot of people, while a lot of women are not attracted to short men in that way physically, that's the kind of person that you got to get to know their personality and their character before you could just say, oh, I'm attracted to them. You know what I'm saying? Just by looking at them, you don't just gravitate to the shortest guy in the room. And he was the shortest guy in the room and the smallest, tiniest guy in the room. Honestly, no shade, but he was. Jeffrey and Andre with the little curl down the middle, which I can't stand, seem to be vibing. She's got 3 kids, and she's kind of looking for a father figure for her kids. She's ready to settle down, and Andre calls her a princess, and he seemed to like her too. They seem to be vibing or whatever. Z, they said Z was like giving off homeboy girl vibes. I didn't really see Natasha connect or vibe with anybody for real. It was another awkward scene with Natasha where she was swatting a fly or something like that. But I didn't see her connect with anybody in particular. Blake just kind of seemed unhappy. That's the oldest guy. He just kind of seemed unhappy with the whole scene. He seemed kind of snooty to me. I don't know if it was the look he was giving or if he got this resting bee face. I don't really know, but it wasn't really inviting. And he made the comment to somebody that he didn't want any more kids. So of course this comment started to get out around the scene, around the mixer. And because a lot of these women, like I ran down the ages, a lot of them still in their 30s, a lot of them don't have kids, and so they looking to have kids. And he's already verbalized that he didn't want any more kids. So then he tried to switch it up and say, he would consider it or whatever. But I mean, it's definitely giving, I don't want any more kids, the way he already said it in the beginning, and now he's trying to switch it up to kind of, I guess, push himself along in the competition. But Blake, 44, I think he said he's got 2 adult kids at that. I'm pretty sure he don't want no more kids. So Simone and Rashid get engaged, which I thought they was already engaged from when on their YouTube channel. I thought they was already engaged, but whatever. They got engaged. It was cute. She cried. It was cute. At the end of that episode 1, Drake and Natasha were the 2 that went home in the end. And so far, I'm okay with those 2 being eliminated because, like I said, Dre was kind of the outcast anyway, and Natasha wasn't really vibing with anybody anyway. So they made a good decision for episode 1. On to episode 2. In episode 2, we got 4 new singles this time. 2 women, 2 men. So it ended up it being actually totaling up to 20 singles. At first it was only 16, and then when we left off, now it's 20. Mark Anthony, Fabrice, Cynthia, and Janique. They all Mark Anthony, Cynthia, and Fabrice are all from Haitian descent. And then there's Janique, which she's kind of the feisty Janique from the block type of girl to me. That's what she come off to me. She seemed cool. She seemed pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? She probably somebody that I will vibe with in real life. But that's she just was a little different from the rest of them. But hey, she seemed pretty cool. Tony, what was that? Yeah, Tony and Marcia seem to be bonding a lot more this episode. I love their date. They prayed over the food. They talked about their childhood and growing up, and I just really think Tony and Marcia might be a good couple, and might move a lot further in the competition. So I like Tony and Marcia so far. Andre and Jeffrey seem to be getting closer as well, but he does have a wandering eye, he was kind of checking out Cynthia when she came in her green dress. Cynthia looked good, though. I ain't gonna lie. Both of the new ladies look just as good as all the rest of them. So Cynthia came in her green dress and caught Andre's attention. Mark Anthony and Mercedes also kind of vibe this episode. We found out he was a pilot. That's one of the new guys. We found out he's a pilot. And Mercedes, she's a flight attendant. So they just go hand in hand together. So they vibed out pretty good from what I could see. Z and Blake had a solo date, which was quite cringy to me, honestly. Like I said, Blake has this whole resting bitch face and kind of just not giving, I don't know. He's just not giving off a fun, happy-go-lucky vibe. He kind of giving off a serious vibe. He giving off something that I don't know. I can't really pinpoint it, but Z is really just boring. She just a boring chick to me, honestly. Nothing about her was interesting. The date was cringy. They couldn't get a conversation like flowing. He was asking questions. She felt like it was an interview. Neither one of them enjoyed the date. And even at the end of the date, he was like, well, if there is another date, I will look forward to it if it is another date. We both know, I know, they know, they ain't gonna have another date because it's just not giving. Corvea and Mark Anthony sit down, which they have a little one-on-one conversation, and Corvea starts talking about being spoiled and spoiling her, and that's just a turn-off, Corvea. You cannot come off like that. You're not a child. You cannot just be saying spoil me type. You gotta find another way to word what you're trying to say and what you're looking for, because you coming off as like he said, kind of gold diggerish, even though, nobody's there just really got a whole lot of money and rich, I'm sure. But the fact that the way you coming off and the way you expressing it, it just sound like you looking for material things and not really like love, relationship, marriage, stuff like that. Like you gotta have this, and that materialistically wise, or he's gotta have this, and that set up for you to like him. And Corvea, it's just not coming out right. Even though I get what you're trying to say, I get you don't want no dude with no roommate, because I won't want no dude with a roommate either. It's just, I ain't gonna say, it's just not what we want to do as adults. Like, we don't want to be bothered with roommates, especially if you live on your own. You don't want to have to deal with somebody who not living on their own. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. And I get that you're saying, like, as far as being spoiled, that you want, your love language might be gifts, stuff like that. But it's just the way you saying it. And Mark Anthony took it as gold diggerish from what he said to his confessional. So, I don't know, Corvea. I don't know. Z is still going around they mixing and mingling or whatever. She's still going around fixated on how she almost got eliminated last week, which, she was one of the people on the chopping block, but she ended up staying from episode 1 to episode 2. And she's talking about how she just, some of the guys want to be eliminated, and she's trying to figure out why, when she need to be moving on and trying to show her personality and be more open and talking more, instead of trying to worry about what was happening when she almost got eliminated, because you didn't get eliminated. So you got another chance to show who you are and show more about yourself that you did not do, Z. Not Mark Anthony. Tony and Marcia have a solo date, and they seem to still like each other. Like I said, I love their date. Her outfit was so cute. Her little red shirt and polka dot bell bottom pants. I thought that was so cute, and I just liked them, and I liked how they, vibed and prayed over the food, and just, spiritual, and they seem to really like each other. So I'm rooting for them. Back to Andre and Jeffree. Another thing, Jeffree said that some of the Miami girls, I don't know if she was talking about the city of Miami or just the cast, but she was like, these Miami girls are thirsty. So when Cynthia walked over there to where him and Andre and Jeffree were sitting and talking, she kind of interrupted their conversation. So she made the comment that the Miami girls are thirsty. That could have been editing where they just cut that in there when she did that, and she wasn't really specifically talking about Cynthia. But she was saying that, if her and Andre connection is truly what they've been talking about and how they've been vibing, that it'll shine through and he'll be hers, regardless of who around. So she just gonna let him do his thing or whatever, and he gonna choose who he gonna choose. Fabrice was one of the new guys as well. He's got this accent. He's from the Caribbean. He lived in Paris. So he's doing a lot of talking and mingling around with. He talked with Jeffree. He talked with a couple of ladies. But he's really making a lot of sexual innuendos, a lot of sex talk. He loves sex. Sex is important. Why would you want to get with somebody who you can't have fun in the bedroom with type of dude? And Fabrice is giving me no, absolutely not. They had this date where it's 6 guys and the 2 new girls. So they all meet up. They sit around the table talking. Cynthia pulled up first. So they got a chance to kind of grill Cynthia a little bit about what she like and don't like. Her type, when her and Andre was kind of giving each other the googly eyes or whatever. Somebody asked her type, and she's like, I like all types. They started to try to get turned off by that, but at the end of the day, I got what she was saying. She explained herself. She handled herself very well. She explained what she meant very well. And basically, she was saying, at this age, she has learned not to just go off of looks, and that's so true. Because at this age, you can't just go off of looks. It's about how somebody treats you. Yes, you have preferences about, what you prefer in a man, but it's really just about how people treat you at the end of the day. So she kind of explained that to the T, and I like that about Cynthia. She was very upfront and forthcoming with her information, and she didn't sugarcoat it, and she didn't mince words when she made her explanation. So they kind of respected her for that, which they should have, because they should have gave her them props. Then Janique came, and Janique was kind of saying that she wished she had gotten there with everybody else because she would have more time with the guys. But they asked her type, what's her type, and she explained that very well, very maturely. Like, hey, what's ugly to society might not be ugly to me, and if he my man, he fine to me. And that's how I feel about it too. If you mine and I'm messing with you, you look good as hell to me. So what all these other people think is irrelevant. You look good to me, and if I want you, another one gonna want you. Trust that. Because that's just how the women operate. Soon as they see somebody else on it, they like, well, what he got that she want, because I want it. Not. So yeah, I feel on that. Well, they was like, would you date an ugly dude? It ain't even about being ugly, because what's ugly to me might not be ugly to you, and what's ugly to you might not be ugly to me. So whatever. And she was like, I don't mind, because I don't need all these women looking at my man and this and that. So I like that about Zanique. I felt her on that. The 2 new guys, Mark Anthony and Fabrice, had a meet up with a group of little ladies. Fabrice still talking about sex for internet. Basically, that's all he talking about, and how important it is. Mark Anthony and Mercedes seemed to be a little googly-eyed during this meetup, and Jeffree was completely turned off by Fabrice. I don't know why I want to call him Fabrice, but it's Fabrice. And yeah, at the end, the guys just didn't have much of a connection with Z and Corvea, so they had to do their elimination. They took them to dinner, they broke it down, ended up being Z that went home. And I think, like I said, I think it's the way Corvea is conveying the things that she wants is coming off more of a judgmental way than a preferences way, or I don't know. But Z went home, Corvea ended up staying, and yeah, that's it for episode 2. So the first 2 episodes wasn't really giving much, but you know, as the season goes on, I'm sure it's gonna probably get a lot better and a lot more entertaining. And I can't wait, you know, because I love this show and I like to see the singles meet up, you know, and do their thing and eventually become, you know, a couple. At the end of the season, most of the time, there are some interviewers on YouTube that'll do, you know, after show interviews. I think Z has one on, I forgot the chick name. I'll tell y'all, but one of the girls did an interview with Z. And then I know Little Black Book does have interviews sometimes with them too. So yeah, this is Ready to Love. I will be back next week. I will be doing these weekly episodes. If it's not the day after, it'll be the day after that. Because I also work a lot. I work a lot of overtime. Even though I work from home, I got to work. So if it's not the day of, the day after, I really need to try to get up the night of. But, you know, I don't know how that's going to go. But if it's not the day after, it'll be the following day. But I definitely will be back to drop these reviews on Ready to Love. And then, you know, maybe pick up some other segments because I'm watching a whole lot of other stuff. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.